You wake up, look in the mirror, and think, just another average guy. You scroll through social media, seeing guys with perfect abs, perfect lives, perfect everything, and you wonder what you're missing. But what if I told you that right now? As you're listening to this, you're probably radiating a type of magnetism that you can't even see. What if the very thing that makes you attractive has nothing to do with your jawline, your bank account, or your Instagram followers? Here's the mind-bending truth. Most genuinely attractive men have no idea they're attractive. They're walking around completely oblivious to the effect they have on others. And today I'm going to show you the subtle signs that you might be one of them. Brothers, we need to talk about the biggest lie society has sold us about attractiveness. We've been programmed to believe that attraction is all about surface-level stuff, looks, money, status symbols. But that's not how real magnetism works. Real attraction happens in the spaces between words. It's in the way you carry yourself when no one's looking. It's in the energy you bring to a room without saying anything. It's in the subtle ways people respond to you that you've probably never even noticed. I've studied human psychology and attraction for years, and I can tell you this. The men who obsess over their appearance are rarely the ones who are truly magnetic. The guys who are constantly trying to impress others usually repel them instead. But the men who are focused on living authentically, who are comfortable in their own skin, who have developed certain character traits, these are the guys who create an invisible pull that others can't explain but can't resist. Today, we're diving into 7 specific signs that you possess this invisible magnetism, and I guarantee that by the end of this, you'll start noticing things about yourself that you've been blind to your entire life. The first sign you're more attractive than you think is something that probably happens to you so often. You don't even notice it anymore. Strangers tell you their life stories. Think about it. You're at a coffee shop and the barista starts sharing her relationship problems. You're on a flight and the person next to you opens up about their career struggles. A coworker who barely knows you suddenly trusts you with sensitive information. Most guys think this is just random small talk, but it's not. It's a superpower you don't realize you have. Here's what's really happening. You radiate psychological safety. In a world where everyone's wearing masks and putting up walls, you've somehow created an energy that makes people feel like they can let their guard down. This is incredibly rare and incredibly attractive. Women are especially drawn to this quality because safety is their #1 need in any relationship. When a woman feels safe enough to be vulnerable with you, it triggers something primal. She starts thinking, this man could protect not just my body but my heart. But here's the kicker. You're probably not even trying to create this effect. You're just being yourself. You listen without judgment. You don't interrupt with your own stories. You don't offer unsolicited advice. You just hold space. This ability to make others feel seen and heard is one of the most magnetic qualities a man can possess. If people consistently open up to you, stop brushing it off as coincidence. It means you have an emotional intelligence that most men lack completely. The second sign of your hidden magnetism is how you respond when everything's falling apart around you. While others panic, argue, or shut down completely, you remain steady. Maybe it's a work crisis where everyone's freaking out, but you're the one asking practical questions and suggesting solutions. Maybe it's a social situation that gets awkward, and you're the one who smoothly redirects the conversation. Maybe it's a minor emergency where others freeze, but you naturally take charge. This composure under pressure is like kryptonite to stress and catnip to attraction. Here's why. In our caveman brains, we're still wired to seek out the person who can keep us safe when the saber-toothed tiger attacks. Your calm energy in chaotic moments signals to everyone around you that you're that person. Women find this especially magnetic because it demonstrates emotional regulation, one of the highest forms of intelligence. It shows that you're not controlled by your emotions. You're in control of them. This creates trust on a visceral level. But here's what makes this even more attractive. You probably don't see it as a big deal. To you, staying calm just makes sense. You think, why would I make things worse by panicking? This natural response reveals a maturity that most men take decades to develop, if they ever do. The next time chaos erupts and you find yourself naturally becoming the anchor in the storm, pay attention to how others respond to you. You'll start noticing that people look to you for reassurance, that your presence actually changes the energy in the room. Here's a subtle sign that your magnetism is working over time. People start copying you without realizing it. And you probably don't realize it either. It starts small. Maybe you have a particular way of laughing, and suddenly your friends are laughing the same way. Maybe you start using a phrase and a week later everyone in your group is saying it. Maybe you wear a certain style of jacket and your buddy shows up wearing something similar. This isn't coincidence. It's influence, and influence is one of the purest forms of attractiveness. When people mirror you, it means your presence has weight. You're not just existing in their space, you're shaping it. Your energy is so compelling that others unconsciously want to absorb it and make it their own. Women do this too, and when they do, it's a massive indicator of attraction. She starts ordering the same drinks you order. She picks up your sense of humor. She begins using words and phrases you use. She's not doing this consciously. Her brain is literally rewiring itself to sync with yours. This mirroring happens because attractive people create what psychologists call behavioral contagion. Your confidence, your mannerisms, your way of moving through the world becomes infectious. Others want to experience what you're experiencing, feel what you're feeling. The crazy part? You're probably completely oblivious to this effect. You're just being yourself, but that authentic self is so magnetic that others can't help but be drawn into your orbit. If you start paying attention and notice that people around you are picking up your habits, your speech patterns, or even your style choices, that's not flattery. That's proof of your invisible influence. The fourth sign of your hidden magnetism is something that happens when you're not even there. People notice when you're missing. You skip a social gathering, and multiple people text asking where you are. You're out sick from work, and colleagues mention that it feels different without you there. You miss a regular hangout, and friends say the energy just wasn't the same. This isn't just about being popular or well-liked. This is about having a presence that actually fills space in a way that others can feel. Attractive men don't just occupy a room, they influence it. Your energy, your way of engaging with others, your particular brand of humor or wisdom or calm creates a specific atmosphere. When you're not there, that atmosphere changes noticeably. Here's what's fascinating about this. You're probably not the loudest person in the group or the one trying to be the center of attention. In fact, you might consider yourself pretty low-key. But your particular energy, whatever combination of traits makes you uniquely you, has become essential to the group dynamic. Women are especially sensitive to this. They'll notice your absence in ways that might surprise you. Maybe she finds herself looking around the room wondering why something feels off, only to realize you're not there. Maybe she catches herself feeling slightly disappointed when she sees you're not at an event she was expecting you at. This type of presence is incredibly rare because most people are so focused on trying to impress others that they never develop the authentic energy that makes them truly missed when they're gone. If people consistently notice and comment on your absence, it means your presence has become valuable to them, and value is the foundation of all attraction. In our screen-obsessed world, the ability to maintain genuine eye contact has become a superpower that most men don't even know they possess. If you're comfortable looking people in the eye, not in an aggressive stare-down way but in a present, engaged way, you're already more attractive than 80% of men your age. Real eye contact communicates several things simultaneously. Confidence, honesty, presence, and emotional strength. It says, I'm comfortable with who I am, I have nothing to hide, and I'm genuinely interested in this connection. Women pick up on this immediately because eye contact creates intimacy. In those moments of sustained eye contact, she feels seen, heard, and valued. It's a form of presence that's becoming increasingly rare in our distracted world. But here's what makes your eye contact especially magnetic. It's not calculated or manipulative. You're not using it as a technique to create attraction. You're just naturally present with people. This authenticity comes through in your gaze, making it feel safe rather than predatory. Most men either avoid eye contact completely, which signals insecurity, or use it aggressively, which feels threatening. But if you've found that sweet spot of comfortable, steady eye contact, you're communicating confidence on a subconscious level. Pay attention to how people respond when you look them in the eye. Do they hold your gaze? Do they seem more engaged in the conversation? Do women seem to light up or become more animated when you're giving them your full attention? These responses are telling you something important about the power of your presence. The sixth sign of your invisible magnetism is something that might seem simple but is actually profound. People are happier around you. You know that friend who always seems stressed, But when she's talking to you, she's laughing and relaxed. Or that coworker who's usually serious, but somehow you bring out their playful side? That's not happening by accident. You have the ability to shift people's emotional states simply by being yourself. This isn't about being a comedian or an entertainer. It's about creating an energy that allows others to drop their guard and access their joy. Women especially respond to this quality because they spend so much of their day managing stress, expectations, and responsibilities. When they encounter a man whose presence naturally lightens their mood, it feels like a gift. Here's what's really happening. You're authentic. Relaxed energy gives others permission to be authentic and relaxed too. In a world where everyone's wearing masks and trying to impress each other, you've somehow maintained access to genuine playfulness and ease. This ability to bring out the best in others is incredibly rare and incredibly attractive. It suggests that being in a relationship with you would be a source of joy rather than stress, pleasure rather than pressure. If you notice that conversations with you often end with the other person smiling, laughing, or commenting on how good they feel, pay attention. That's your magnetism at work, creating positive emotional experiences that people will associate with you long after you're gone. Brothers, here's the reality check you need. You've been walking around with superpowers you didn't even know you had. If any of these signs resonated with you, if people open up to you, copy your habits, notice when you're absent, engage with your eye contact, or seem happier in your presence, then you need to stop underestimating yourself right now. Your attractiveness isn't about becoming someone different. It's about recognizing and owning who you already are. It's about understanding that the very qualities that make you feel ordinary are actually what make you extraordinary. Stop comparing yourself to the highlight reels on social media. Stop trying to be someone else's version of attractive. The world doesn't need another carbon copy. It needs the authentic, magnetic version of you. Your assignment is simple. For the next week, pay attention. Notice how people respond to you. Watch for the signs we've discussed. You might be shocked to discover just how much influence and magnetism you've been carrying around without realizing. The most attractive thing about you isn't something you need to develop. It's something you need to recognize. Start today.